Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The War with Grandpa. And I finally got a chance to see this at a drive-in, and I didn't have high expectations going in, but even this film couldn't even hit those. And this is from director Tim Hill, which I'm a little worried about the new SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, after watching this, because he also directed that. But he also directed some of the Alvin Chipmunk movies. And I'm just like, oh no. And the tone of this film just feels so mean-spirited and uneven and just uncomfortable. This kid, played by Oaks Fegley, is so hateable, dislikable, just a little shit of a kid. And I hated him from the very start. And Fegley doesn't do the best job of portraying this character, and how this character is written is so bad that you just don't care, and honestly you kind of hope that his grandpa gives him some comeuppance because he's that much of a little jerk. And like his friend group are just so weird and awkward or mean-spirited that like they get bullied and you really don't care that much. Which is sad because bullying's awful. But like this kid's bullying an elderly man because he took my room. And it's just like, no, your parents took your room. Your grandpa didn't take your room. He didn't even want to move in with you. And that's the premise of the film, is Robert De Niro gets brought into the home of his daughter and her family so that he could be there because she doesn't really trust him on his own anymore. And he doesn't want to be there. And Robert De Niro is like the only saving grace in this film because he is very much committed to this role, and he's endearing and charming. Not gonna lie, the youngest daughter too is really cute. But like, Robert De Niro is Robert De Niro, and he isn't phoning this in, honestly. And just like, he delivers. And honestly, the only times that I laughed during this film were some of the lines he delivered. Because in general, the writing is terrible. These gags have no logic to them. There's like, Robert De Niro rewrites his grandson's report to read in class, and he reads it! And says these horrible things. It's like, it's literally a paper about what you did this summer. You couldn't BS that. And you just read this piece of paper, and then you're embarrassed in class. I'm like, it made no logical sense. And every time this, like, Robert De Niro tries to be like, let's have a truce or whatever, this kid just acts like a complete jerk. And not to get ahead of myself, but this opens up for a sequel and shows that this kid hasn't learned a thing. And it's just like, what was the point of this movie? And like, Uma Thurman's character is a punching bag and a buffoon, honestly. Rob Riggle's character is like cockled and just like, he's completely like henpecked and just like, oh, I can use a chainsaw if I want to. I'm just waiting for my wife to say like she wants me to. And I'm just like, this is so dumb. And the gags were so predictable and stupid and weren't funny for the most part. And this film just, it makes no sense. It's all over the place tonally. There's such wasted talent here too, because like, you have Christopher Walken, Cheech Marin, and Jane Seymour in this film, and they're just like running old people gags. And in the end, it's just like, I didn't care about this kid. I wanted his grandfather to show him up. And the whole entire movie, Robert De Niro is trying to be the bigger man and move on from this. And this kid doesn't learn a thing. And by the end, spoilers, doesn't really learn a thing. And I just I can't get this hour and 30-something minutes back. That's probably the shortest way to put this. Not a great time. And if it wasn't for Robert De Niro, this would have been a complete train wreck. And yeah, so I really wouldn't recommend War for Grandpa. Like, if you enjoy silly physical gags and just silliness, kids will probably get a lot out of it. I heard kids laughing during the film, so like, as an adult, this doesn't really work. But for like low-hanging fruit and lowbrow humor, it has it. So if you enjoy that, you'll probably enjoy A War with Grandpa, or at least watchable. I wouldn't sit through this again. I was getting really frustrated. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.